Yo, what's good? It's Skano. I touched briefly on the topic of, you know, demonic attacks, and just spiritual awareness, being in tune with your spirituality. Um, as I said, man, I was somewhat raised in not somewhat, I was raised in a church. And this is why I know this is a key factor in why I went through so much. I'm saying even once I got out the streets and changed how I was moving, I still didn't change how I was thinking. I changed how I was moving because I had kids, but my spirituality pretty much remained the same. My mindset um, is pretty much the same. I was on the same time, just moving different. You know what I'm saying? Just for the love and the sense of responsibility I had for my kids. But for all intents and purposes, I was the same individual. Um, so all that to say that okay, some years had passed since my first. I, I can't call it anything but a demonic attack. My grandmother agreed, and like I said, she was very in tune with her spirituality, indoctrinated me into Christianity, um, and kept me in church as much as she could. When my father was caught up in whatever, I usually would stay with her. So all that to say that she took it for what it was, and I never had no reservations about going to my grandmother with things of the spiritual nature because she was, you know what I'm saying? She was the, you know, she was a go-to guru as far as spirituality. She told me exactly what was going on, and straight up demonic attack. But some years later, I'm grown now, and I'm in the streets. I'm involved in, what come with that. So I hadn't seen my grandmother in quite a while. I walk into her bedroom because she usually chilled in her bed. She had her own house, but she stayed in her bedroom mostly. Anyway, R.I.P. Grandma. But I go in there, because I would just stop by, routinely, no matter what I was involved in. She always welcomed me into her home. On this particular occasion, though, it was different. And I'm not trying to proclaim my grandmother to be some type of clairvoyant or like she was a prophet but she was very, very spiritually in tune, man. As most people who are, have a strong connection with God are. Enter into the room, just like normal, and I could tell that her energy was, and she said, "What's going on with you?" What you mean? She said, "You ain't right." She said, "You got an unclean spirit. It's all around you, all around you." And I really had no comeback. I had no words to reply. And I never lied to my grandmother anyway. I never lied to anyone, but except the police. But I didn't give her no details about what I was involved in. She didn't need the details, but she knew. She said, "You have an unclean spirit. You need to get yourself together. You know better." And you know, I listened. You know, I didn't try to, what I'm politic about. I listened. She said what she had to say, and she said, "I always welcomed you into my home, no matter what was going on with you." She said, You can't come here like this. You can't come here anymore until you get yourself together. Get your spirit clean, because you're not right." And I know what she meant. And I will be honest, it did hurt me, you know. even then I was uh, pulling in multiple directions because I was raised, I knew better. And that's the thing about people who are, and this just popped in my head, man, about Mo3, the Dallas rapper. You know, he was brought up in the church too. Dude was a singer. He was singing in the choir when he was younger. So he was in tune with his spirituality, but you see which direction he went, right? He ended up going left. And those of us who have been indoctrinated into Christianity or spirituality, we gonna catch hell the worst. But what I mean by that is when you've been raised in a church or once you've been introduced to Christianity and you get saved or you choose to change your life however you want to put it and you start to veer back left, oh yeah, you gonna go through more hell than the average hellraiser because you already know better. You've already, you know what I'm saying? God has already presented it to you. Not literally, but literally. And you still choose to go this way? Okay. But he will give you an opportunity to come back. You're going to go through some shit, and your mind is going to tell you you're not right. And all the times I was in the street doing whatever, on whatever time I was on, demon time, I still had that voice, and that was God, man. Your conscience is God speaking through your spirituality. That's what I believe. All that time, my conscience is like, bro, I swear, man. It didn't matter how much money I had. It didn't matter how many fake friends I had, how many women I had, how high up I thought I was, how many battles I won out there in them streets. It didn't matter. I still felt like impending doom was always around the corner. And my conscience always, you're not right. You know you're not right. You better get yourself together before you run out of time. And the point I was making about Mo3, man, and I don't know Mo3 personally, but what I understand, dude, was like he had a church background, like a lot of us black folks be having. And dude chose to go left. And he was on that, y'all know what I'm talking about with Mo3. If you know, you know. And you will get blessings in between. It's not like you will get your blessings. It seemed like no matter every time I take 2 steps forward, something happened at 3 steps back. 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. I said, okay, I got to figure out a better way to do this. You can't outsmart God. You can outsmart the law. You can outsmart niggas in the streets. You can't outsmart God. So the point I was making about Mo3, man, he kept playing with God. And this is just my personal opinion. Like I said, I don't know Mo3. But I feel like he knew better. Just like I knew better. And he ran out of time. And got gunned down, lost his life. I wonder if he had a chance to say, Lord, forgive me for, you know what I'm saying? Because when it come, it might not be no time for all that, man. So and I don't want to stand up here, like I said, man. I guess I'm a complex person in the sense that, yeah, I have done a lot of things in the streets, but I never lost touch with my spirituality. And all that time, man. And that's probably what saved me from the streets, man. Honestly, because I still kept God in my heart, even when I was on demon time. And it's like a lot of us out here living a life that really ain't meant for us, man. You walk in them shoes, but it is what it is, man. But it's a lot of people out here that have a church background that's out here doing whatever they doing. Maybe not necessarily on demon time, but they live in a lifestyle that they know is not God-like, Christ-like. And they going through hell. They ain't right in their spirit. They ain't right in their mind. You know what I'm saying? Going through one change. That's all it is, man. It's God telling you, listen, you know what you need to do. Come on home for your time run out. And so she said, back to what my grandmother was saying, she said you have an impure spirit. And I don't know what you involved in. I hear things but I don't know what you involved in, but I already know what I need to know. And you better get yourself together and come on home before you run out of time. And I hear you, Grandma. I hear you. And at this time, like I said, man, I'm doing my thing. I'm really feeling invincible in the streets. Not like I'm some kingpin, but I'm doing my thing. I didn't survive some situations. You know, my money is right. You know, I'm one step ahead of 12, and I'm feeling invincible, and it all come crashing down. And the way it happens is, I knew it was nothing else but God, man. And that was the one last opportunity. So I end up in prison, 2 years, like I said. And it's funny how when niggas get to the joint, they always get religious and shit, right? It seemed that way. I know a lot of niggas who, when I was locked up, they was talking that talk. You seen them when they on the street, they back on that shit again. And that's what I mean. You cannot play with God, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to choose a side. So it was at that point that I realized, okay, that might be my last opportunity. And as far as dark energy, uh, it's a real thing, man. Demonic energy. Why do you think niggas out here, not black folks? Uh, Look, I will call a Russian a nigga. You know what I'm saying? So don't think I'm just specifically speaking on black folks when I say the word nigga. Although sometimes, anyway. So when it comes to demonic energy, when we say they on demon time, that is literal, man. It's demonic energy out here, everywhere. The people you around, you got to be careful, man. Energy transfers. And that's the point I'm making. I would go around certain people in the church, um, and they would be like, they would tell like a family member or whatnot. They would tell, these associates who were in the church, like that something about him ain't right. You know, he got a bad spirit. He got a dark spirit. And I didn't see myself as a negative person at all. But people who are in tune with their spirituality can pick up on these things, man. Not all pastors, not all people in the church, but people who are really grounded in God and connected with God, they can see through it, man. I don't care what face you got on, they can see through it. And I've heard that various times, one way or the other, that your spirit is wrong. You got dark energy around you. And this is coming from people in the church. And and I'm like, man, what? And I understand, like I said, being coming from that background. But I'm like, and it used to upset me. And I'm like, how are you judging me? You don't know me. You don't know nothing about me. But see, I was fully immersed in that darkness. And although I knew what they saying was right, like I said, man, we have spiritual agents. We have spiritual, whether you believe it or not, we all have spiritual agents. If you more got a dark, you know what I'm saying, persona, your spiritual agent gonna be demonic. And if you know what I'm saying, you could be a good person to have a demonic agent on you, because the devil want to destroy those who are trying to come to God. The people that's out here wilding out and doing, Satan's work, he ain't paying much attention. It's the people that's trying to keep themselves together, do right, come closer to God. Those are the people that Satan is focused on. So don't think it's just these niggas out in the streets doing the killing and, the rapists, the pedophiles, and, anybody can have a dark agent. But and you may not even be aware of it, man. You ever notice somebody come in the room and their energy is just off? You could just sense it, because we always say energy. What do you think that is, dude? That's your spirituality shining through. So when we say, yeah, man, your energy is off, your energy is bad, and you could just sense somebody and they'll just put you in a bad mood. Like your mood just change. And it mirrors that's that energy, that spirituality, man. You know what I'm saying? And it will transfer. You got to be careful who you sleep with out here. You got to be careful who you let put their hands on you. I'm saying in any type of manner. Some people are overly touchy. They walk, hey, how you doing? Don't. And it's not being funny. You got to be careful about that energy transfer, man, because people out here with dark demonic energy, they might not even know it. You know what I'm saying? So, prayer. Prayer. I had someone I really trusted, a friend of the family, a pastor, and I had somebody pray over me. Because you got to watch who you let pray over you, too, man. A lot of these people in the church be wolves in sheep's clothing. You can't let everybody pray over you because they be them put some demonic energy in you. This shit sounds crazy. Hey, I believe what I believe. So energy, man, is really spirituality. So, like I was saying, I'm sleeping with random women who are involved in whatever they involved in, and they didn't slept with whoever they didn't slept with. And you know how we like to go raw and shoot up the club and all that. And that being said, that's a direct transfer energy. That's the most direct transfer energy you can, you know what I'm saying? Right there. And I think a lot of people sleep on that, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what type of entity you absorbing into you, not just physically, man. I'm talking about on a spiritual level. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to, like I said, man. I'm not an expert. Obviously, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody that could save anybody. You ever heard that song? That's an old Christian song. Y'all probably ain't hip to that, but yeah, man. So like I said, I'm not trying to come across like I got it all figured out. It's a battle with me still. It's still times where I think about that demonic attack, the things that played out years later, and I know I would never be. Well, I don't want to say never. I hope to reach a level where I'm untouchable. I'm talking about as far as demonic entities. But the fact of the matter, even Jesus got pressed by Satan. Remember up on that mountain. So anybody can get pressed. But if you in tune with your spirituality, man, you're going to block him. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna block that. Get back Satan. Cause there's gonna be a lot of people, man, that's in and around your life, man. You know what and they don't look like demons, but that energy they putting out, you know what I'm saying? It could taint your spirituality, so to speak. But that's enough woo woo from me, man. 216 Skano from the gutter.